So you must have the patience, the courage, and the willingness to stay out of the fray because you cannot win. As a young captain, one of my bosses told me, never wrestle with a pig because you'll both get dirty and the pig will love it. I never forgot that, and that was Colonel Watha James Edens. Okay. Now, when you are engaged in controversy, you're, quote, you are like a wounded zebra on the Serengeti. The herd is mildly interested in your survival. Their first priority is the protection of the herd. But if you survive, they will bring you back into the herd. This was the description given to me by one of those generals that I sought counsel from while dealing with Abu Ghraib. This is a very accurate metaphorical comparison, but it must not deter you if you find yourself in those situations. Now, without question, the greatest challenge for a military leader in high command lies in the politics of war. This isn't surprising, and it should be understood by all Americans, since war is an extension of politics. The American way of war is fractured because modern war demands the integration and the synchronization of all elements of national power, and we as a nation have not quite figured out how to do that effectively. The challenges of interagency operations oftentimes overwhelm and undermine our war effort in total. And as a nation, to this day, we continue to struggle. And it's primarily because we have no mechanism to ensure unity of effort. Now, the partisanship that has fractured our political processes is also a contributor to these challenges. Now, I have come away from my professional experiences with an undaunted spirit, a faith that is unshakable, and a love of country that is still unsurpassed. I have been asked by some of my foreign military friends, how can you be so loyal today given what your country did to you? My answer is simple. I was blessed with seeing firsthand that American democracy has evolved into something that is not understood around the world. Americans do not appreciate our democracy unless you have seen other countries struggle with these issues. We have made great strides in advancing toward the ideal human condition that our forefathers envisioned when they enshrined the Bill of Rights as the first 10 amendments to our Constitution. We are truly, without a question, the greatest democracy on earth. We do not understand when other people tell us that they do not want what we have in America because it is tough to accept. While serving as a commander of U.S. forces in Kosovo from 1999 to 2000, I encountered a highly respected Kosovar leader who repeatedly asked me at a social function, "What are you? Who are you?" I couldn't understand his question, so I told him I was an American soldier and I was a commander of U.S. forces. He insisted, saying, "No, but what are you?" He said, "You are not an American." Finally, I understood the question. So I told him that I was a Mexican American, and I told him a little bit about my grandparents and my great-grandparents and how they'd come to the United States. And his response was, "How can this be? How is it that a minority is commanding all of U.S. forces here in my country?" He couldn't comprehend what it was to have equal opportunity. Years later, as recently as a couple of years ago, in a conversation with a Western European leader, military leader, we started talking about the opportunity for high command and strategic leadership within their armed forces, and he stated flat out, he said, "You would never have become a general officer in our country. Your background and ethnicity would have automatically disqualified you. You might have become a lieutenant colonel or a colonel. My country gave me great opportunities, but in the end, I was asked to retire. Now, we must be proud of being Americans. We can never forget the tremendous benefits and rights that we possessed, and we must understand that we have a responsibility to serve our country. Our opportunities as minorities, and specifically as Hispanics within the military, are unlimited. There is no other segment of society that has embraced equal opportunity and non-discrimination to the same extent as the American military. This is what I meant earlier when I said I have lived a sheltered life. This is not to say that there are problems, because as Hispanics, we still have glass ceilings. We still are not represented at the strategic level of leadership, at the general officer, Army general officer level, at the same rate as we are represented across society and within the military. Over the last 40 years, we have never had more than 5 to 7 Hispanic general officers at any given time in the American Army. And over the last 75 years or so, we have had only 3 active duty 3-stars. These are active duty 3-stars that made it their life's profession to serve in uniform, and only 1 4-star. What's the problem? We are just as capable, just as competent, just as well educated as any other segment of this society. Furthermore, when we finally hang up our uniform, regardless of length of service, regardless of rank, we return to a society with multiple disadvantages. Not only do we return to being a minority, but we carry the added burden that accrues when America has lost touch with its military, with its armed forces. Sometimes we return to the poverty and the problems that we left behind when we joined our Army. Corporate America values the traditional characteristics that have always been attributed to a warrior: courage, dedication, discipline, all of those things. But what they do not understand is the tremendously broad range of experiences and responsibilities that these warriors bring back to American society. The economic opportunity for our returning warriors is scarce, and America must rededicate itself to correcting this injustice. Now, in summary, never forget where you came from. It will give you humility, and humility provides a window to the heart and the soul of many who would otherwise shun you. Many choose to aggrandize themselves at the expense of others by whatever means, and some do succeed. But that is not necessary to succeed. There is absolutely nothing wrong with being idealistic, aggressive, disciplined, and focused. And in fact, if you are a minority, these traits are absolutely essential if you're going to have a chance at success. But you must temper these characteristics with a dose of reality, compassion, humility, moral courage, and absolute integrity. Throughout all of my professional career, I learned that in battle, even the simplest things are hard. The same is true in our daily lives. All the challenges that the Lord has allowed me to face have been a blessing, and He has taken me to the heights of glory and the depths of despair. But I walk away proud of having served my country, and I thank Him every day. We are not guaranteed an easy life, and in fact, what is guaranteed is that we will struggle through untold sacrifices, desperation, sadness, disappointment, and injustice. But in the end, what is most important is that during the toughest of times, we never left the moral high ground, and we displayed the courage to walk by faith and not by sight. May God bless you, and thank you for your time.
General Sanchez, on behalf of the Latino Leaders Network, I'm proud to present you with our Nambe Eagle Leadership Award for your outstanding contribution to the Latino community and your country. Thank you. General, you're not going to lose that award. Just a couple of closing comments, a couple of announcements. Please join me now in thanking our Latino Leaders Network team, our board of directors, Michelle Mingus-Moore, Maricela Huerta, and also today is the final day of our intern from Northwestern University, Elisa Santana. She catches a plane immediately to get back to school. Please join me in thanking our Latino Leader Network team. Thank you. Once again, thank you to Anheuser-Busch and Kraft Foods again for your support. Sponsor material and partner publications are available just outside of the ballroom. We look forward to continuing the Latino Leaders Luncheon series. As Michelle mentioned, Our final event for 2010 will be on November 16th. Again, General Sanchez has agreed to sign books outside of the ballroom. We'll set that up in about 5 minutes. We start on time and we end on time. Thank you very much for joining us.